What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to some more F1 25 driver career mode for the Spanish Grand Prix. But if you missed last episode at Monaco, we did it at 110% AI and came out on top with the victory, and we have quite the healthy lead now in the driver's standings. Of course, we've had a very fortunate start to the season, whilst other drivers have had pretty inconsistent times in these first four races. We got pretty lucky in the first two Grand Prix due to the safety car. Imola was a return back to the sort of norm. We were nowhere near the top three cars, of course, and Lando Norris had qualified outside of the top 10, so if he'd have qualified well, we likely would have finished fifth. But Monaco, of course, very easy track. Even at 110% AI, we qualified second. So yeah, I think, suffice to say, we are now saying goodbye to Monaco for the rest of this series. It's just way too easy, and it makes for boring content, you know, not only for me to make, but also for you guys to watch. So no more Monaco for this career mode. That is it. It's done. Now we're getting onto some normal tracks, and fingers crossed we don't get any safety cars, so we can truly get some real pace and have an actual fight for this championship. We, again, have a pretty healthy lead, so I am thankful for those four races, but I am kind of hoping that we have some races where we're behind clearly faster cars, which are the McLaren and Ferrari. As you can tell, Leclerc all the way down below even a Mercedes and a Williams, despite the fact that the Ferrari is actually a really good car this season. They have just been really unlucky. Ferrari actually was so unlucky in Monaco, but then they made the silly decision of double stacking under the safety car, and Leclerc ended up losing a lot of time. And so did Verstappen, and both ended up finishing outside of the points. Verstappen actually pitted later than Leclerc, so they ended up swapping the cars anyway. Very strange strategy from Ferrari, even by in real life standards. McLaren starting to get some real consistency back now, but of course we have just been really consistent in our results. That, you know, we managed to have this lead, and so much so that we also have the lead in the constructors standings. Fernando Alonso got a decent points haul last time out in Monaco, but McLaren are only a couple points behind us, and Ferrari, it's only a matter of time, probably this race actually, that Ferrari get back into it. You know, unlike Monaco, even if they have a bad strategy, even if they get unlucky under the safety car, every other track other than Monaco and Hungary, you're able to overtake at. So yeah, I'm glad to be done with Monaco, but now it's time to get moving on towards the next Grand Prix, the Spanish Grand Prix. We've also been fitting a new MGU-H and a turbocharger. I'm going to make the announcement now. We will be taking a grid penalty at a later date, actually, this Grand Prix for the ICE. At least that's what I was going to say. The AI always take grid penalties for engine components for some reason, which I think is always unfair because it gives the player a clear advantage. Obviously, we need to replace our ICE, so I'm not really sure whether or not I want to put in a new one that we're allowed to, or put in one that, you know, we wouldn't be allowed to. But I'm going to do that because we'll take a grid penalty, which will be fair because other teams will be doing so, and then we've got another one after that we could possibly take at some point, and then the rest can be saved for the rest of the season. I don't know, I think that just makes it fair against the AI. Every time we need a new engine, two of those, we should take a grid penalty. If you guys don't like that, whatever, it will at least make for better content when we have to work our way through the field. Now, the cool thing about Spain is that Season 1 didn't go quite so well around the track. In fact, we were lucky to even score any points at all. Because, you know, we ended up doing a one-on-one with Ollie Behrman, and we had a desperate dive bomb. I think it was the last lap of the Grand Prix. Very lucky to get a P10. So, Spain, I'm really not sure if I'm actually strong around this track. I certainly didn't feel it in season 1 but that's in the V car. We don't know how the Aston Martin will do. The one thing I definitely know that the Aston Martin is better than the V car about is overall pace and also tyre wear. This is a much better car than our season 1 car in pretty much every facet of the imagination. Either way, let's have a look at the progress history. McLaren have made even more upgrades. Everybody else seems to have stagnated, other than Haas and Kick Sauber. They've gained some upgrades. But yeah, other than that, pretty much everybody has stagnated. I've got no idea where VCarb are. Oh, I think they're actually, yeah, they're level with us, Alpine. Williams are just a little bit ahead. But that, honestly, is only powertrain upgrades. So really, this graph doesn't mean all that much in the grand scheme of things. However, since this is Spain, yeah, there's going to be a lot of pace around this track, meaning we're probably going to have a much tougher time of it than we have had in, you know, the previous tracks. We got lucky in Jeddah. Jeddah was going to be, I think, another 4th place finish. I think it was 4th, one of the two. And then Leclerc ended up having an engine failure, so that pushed us into P3. Yeah, okay. So Jeddah was really lucky, but we definitely were not the quickest car by any stretch of the imagination, nowhere near. So Spain might be a very similar ordeal, and then we got Austria after that, then we got the Silverstone doubleheader, then Spa, and then Zandvoort, then Baku. Like, there's a lot of tracks coming up where we are absolutely not the quickest car by any stretch of the imagination. So hopefully now is the time where the season starts heating up and, you know, our consistency looks to wobble quite a bit. Either way, it's time to get into qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix.
It's a Catalonian qualifying for you today. Welcome along to Spain, to Barcelona, and wherever you are in the world. Do you feel the need for speed?
I still think that's a bit corny, by the way, but here we are once again in sunny Spain, as Crofty likes to say, for a weekend that I am quite nervous about. Not only is this a track we struggled on in Season 1, as I said prior, but we're also going to be taking a grid penalty going into this weekend.
Okay, the guys have found a leak in one of the coolant lines, so we're patching that up as we speak. Hold tight for now until we've got everything checked over.
And yeah, not a good start at all. Cooling system fault pretty much straight away in qualifying, and things go from bad to worse as we go through turn 2 here and get caught on the curb a little bit. So that would have lost us at least a 10th, I don't know, definitely a huge loss of grip. That's what it felt like anyway. Just getting caught, too much wheel on the curb, and yeah, that definitely pretty much ruined this lap. But I decided to keep pushing anyway, just to see where our pace was throughout the rest of the lap, and the car feels pretty good. Of course, these cars are a lot more difficult to drive given our powertrain only stipulation, regulation, whatever you want to call it. I don't know when I'm going to take that off. I think I'm going to do it like midway through the season, so we are going to be a couple of races away from lifting the embargo for that. But instantly, already a much better start, and yeah, we did end up losing about a 10th from the loss of grip on turn 2, but we've gained back that 10th now as we get started on this penultimate, not penultimate, but final lap in qualifying. We ended up in P12 after that first lap, so the pace for the rest of the lap doesn't seem all that bad at all. So if we can put everything together quite nicely, we should be on for a pretty good qualifying position. Not that it matters anyway, because we'll be taking grid penalties, but let's just see how well we can do. And already we've got a bit deep going into that corner right there, so we've lost a lot of time, nearly a full 10th from the understeer there. But honestly, I think that was my fault. I think I went too deep, and yeah, but we're getting a lot more time in Sector 3 here. I think I was behind another car on my original lap, so maybe dirty air came into play. I didn't really feel it on that initial lap, so I don't know where this 10th has come from, but I will happily take it as we come around the final corner. Spend some ERS across the line. What's it going to be? Surprisingly, P14. I didn't feel like that lap was all that bad. So when we crossed the line for P14, I was really shocked. But what is not shocking is Ferrari getting back to winning ways, clinching top two, and George Russell and Sainz, P3 and P4. McLaren really not doing well at all. Antonelli does well, so Mercedes are looking strong as well. So quite interesting as we go into the Grand Prix.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, and Fernando Alonso, Norris, Behrman, Colapinto, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Albon, Gasly, Isaac Hadjar, and Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Doohan, Esteban Ocon, and Gabriel Bortoleto, Stroll, and the rookie. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Gnomes. Now, Ant, you always tell me you know Barcelona almost as well as you know the back of your hand. Given the amount of testing that goes on here and the amount of laps that you and all the other drivers have done, what are the challenges that are left when it comes to the race?
Well, this certainly is a favorite track when it comes to testing. And I'll tell you why that is. It's because it offers up so much variation. You've got corners that are fast, that are slow, that are long, that are short. So there's a lot to think about and a lot to work with. But T9 is one of my personal favorites because it is so challenging. Every time you get there, you think, should I lift or should I stay flat? Well, I tell you, stay flat. Commit.
Okay, mate, I know it's not a great position to be starting on the grid, and it also puts us slap bang in the middle of the danger zone where risk is high. So be careful, pick your battles, and let's see if we can pick a few positions off along the way.
Well, we're not actually going to be slap bang in the middle of the danger zone starting from the back, but we're hoping to be slap bang in the middle by the time we get up to turn one. We just need a really good start. The strategy from the softs onto the two mediums is a pretty aggressive strategy, a more aggressive one than I thought would be, but a lot of the cars around us seem to be starting on the softs, so why not? You know, I didn't feel like tyre wear was too rough in qualifying, but it was rough in practice, so I am a bit skeptical to see how the softs do, but we are only doing, 10 laps. Every car around us is doing 10 laps. We could of course pit a little bit earlier as well, maybe a lap 9 or 8, go a bit longer on the mediums, or change the strategy entirely, as we've had to do several times throughout this series. It's a very interesting game when it comes to tyre wear, but here we go, waiting now for the 5 red lights. As we are now underway, Max Verstappen leads away from Charles Leclerc as we immediately carve our way through the middle of Bortoleto and Stroll past Ocon, looking to make it 3 wide now with Doohan and I think that's Tsunoda. Going down the inside, Doohan didn't have enough space there. That's unfortunate. He lost a bit of his wing. Feel a bit sorry for him there as we now look to get past Hülkenberg and Hadjar getting a little bit of dirty air. So maybe we could get up his inside. We do have to be careful and watch some braking zones here as Gasly really covers off the inside against Hadjar. But that is a really good start for us. A dream start as we now get side by side with Isaac Hadjar, our former teammate, looking to go round the outside now for P13 this is. So from P20 to P13 in just the first half of the lap, really, really good. Hadjar still hanging on, fresh off a big result at Monaco, his first points in Formula One, of course, in our alternate universe. But there we go, P13, we lost a bit of time. We need to make up 8 tenths to Pierre Gasly, but this is still early days yet. Cars in front are going to be braking quite hard with all the cars in front. The only car that won't be doing so will be Max Verstappen, for example, who is already about a second ahead, already gapping Leclerc. Same car, so I wonder if some engine wear is coming into play. Ferrari, this is a weekend where they really need a good weekend after Monaco. Absolutely pointless there, completely shafted by the safety car. But let's focus on us for now. Struggling to catch up with Gasly quite a bit. As he looks to go side by side with Colapinto, who is on the medium, so we'll be looking to get past him as quickly as possible because he'll be a lot tougher later on. Gasly, similar to Hadjar earlier, getting a little bit of karma for what he did to Hadjar with the dirty air. He gets dirty air against Colapinto, dirty air of his own as we now go down the inside, of course, and we're past him. So now we can focus on the medium tyre runner of Franco Colapinto in the Red Bull, who, all things considered, isn't having too bad of a season. Of course, this is his first full-time F1 seat. He never went to Alpine in our universe, so that's pretty much it. But as we go through the laps, we're on lap 4 now, struggling to keep up with Colapinto, but, you know, we're keeping things somewhat controlled. Having to spend a lot of ERS on this straight. Of course, the AI do have a huge advantage in terms of acceleration, so it makes races like this a lot more difficult, especially with the powertrain only regulations. It makes it really, really difficult. But, you know, I wanted to try and emulate the 2026 regulations as much as possible. So we have been struggling, but we do make up for it in the corners, such as this one, where we can brake really, really late. There's yellow flags ahead, and it's Lando Norris in the McLaren, completely off the circuit in the gravel. That is a huge mishap for Lando Norris in a weekend where McLaren are already struggling, and it's a safety car. What happened? Did Lando try to get back on track and there was a collision or something? I don't know how that causes a safety car. A virtual maybe, but a full course safety car? We're not able to pit as Fernando, being ahead of us, gets the priority. And of course he's the first driver anyway, regardless of the rough season he's having so far compared to us. I don't know what strategy I want to go with. We could go on to the mediums and then the hards later on. But this is Lando Norris in P6 chasing down the Mercedes of George Russell, and he just gets on the throttle too early and completely spins off circuit. But he also reverses into the gravel. So I don't know how this has caused the safety car. I think it's just because he stays still, but he is off circuit after all. But this is what, like, you can see the cars slowing down as now Lando looks to rejoin. How on earth has that caused a safety car? I've got no idea. Verstappen ended up 5 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so Verstappen's getting a bit of a chokehold of this race, or at least he was until the safety car. We're now coming into the pits, going on to the mediums. I've actually decided to go with the mediums to hard strategy since we are going on the mediums quite early. I guess we could still do the mediums to mediums, but yeah, there was quite a bit of tyre wear on those softs. So, you know, it wasn't too rough as we were only like 6 laps in, but I thought it might be better to go on to the hards. Some teams might be going for a 1-stop like they did in Season 1. I don't know how the powertrain only will affect too many things, but we'll have to see what happens. We'll be going for a 2-stop though, obviously. Our chassis is nowhere near as good as the McLarens and the Ferraris, so if they can get their 1-stop done, who knows where they might end up. I don't know if any other team's going for a 1-stop. We'll have to see as things progress, but we ended up behind our teammate, Fernando Alonso, in P10, so we're not going to try too hard to make this overtake. I did use some ERS to see how much we could actually gain on Fernando, but I didn't want to use too much. You know, for now, I don't want to make things worse for the team if, you know, we start fighting Fernando and we start losing a lot of time to the cars in front. We're too far behind, you know, too low in the points field to risk that. But I actually end up changing that accidentally. They completely take me off guard. I mean, I wasn't expecting the slowdown into that corner. So I ended up having to take evasive action, and it ended up turning into a dive bomb on Fernando Alonso. But I promise I didn't actually mean to do that. But it is what it is. So we'll just have to focus on it. Maybe we can help Fernando Alonso DRS-wise, and maybe we could, you know, maybe squeeze out Russell and help Alonso catch up and get an overtake of his own. Maybe drag him up through the field. Lance Stroll, still on the softs in P8, fighting alongside Lando Norris, who has gotten really lucky with that safety car. In fact, I think Lando is sticking with the 1-stop, which is so strange considering he span out earlier. You'd think he'd change to a 2-stop. And
faster than you. They are faster than you. Let them through, please.
Oh my God.
Okay, thanks for doing that,
Wow,
mate. I know it's not
Fernando
nice, but
is
head down
faster
and
than
focus on
you.
your own race.
Jesus, so real life repeating itself. A cruel situation for us right there, as Fernando Alonso has been permitted to pass us. We've been told by the team, the first time in this career mode, told by the team to let our teammate pass. It never happened at VCOP because we always had more recognition, but Alonso is the clear first team driver here, and yeah, that's what Aston Martin have decided to do. And to be fair, I can't really fault them too much. Alonso does have more pace than us because he's able to get past Russell for P8. So honestly, yeah, I can't fault the team too much for making that decision, as Fernando Alonso overtakes George Russell and we are still behind, struggling to keep up, unfortunately. But lap 14 now, Alonso looking to overtake Colapinto, and there's about to be so much dirty air. Look at that. Full lock, and I couldn't get the car to turn. I was even letting go of the throttle, and Oliver Behrman ended up overtaking us. So we had to wait until the next lap to have an opportunity to take the position back. But that's exactly what I was fearing at the beginning of the Grand Prix, the excessive dirty air coming out of going into turn 3. There was a lot of cars fighting ahead of us, but that was ridiculous. Like, I literally couldn't turn the car even when letting go of the throttle, and Behrman got a really easy overtake there. But we were able to take the position back. Hopefully we don't have another situation like that and we can start getting back into the Grand Prix. Alonso is up into P7. He'll be looking to catch up to Norris. He is on fresher tyres, so I can definitely see that occurring, as we are now observing the battle between George Russell and Colapinto, who are also on one stops, I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure about Russell, but Colapinto absolutely is still on those original mediums. So that's why Alonso was able to get the easy overtake. Meanwhile, we're going to dive bomb George Russell right here, able to gain so much time in the corners. I do really think that Russell is going for a one stop. So yeah, we'll just think about that. But yeah, the AI have got so much acceleration coming out of corners like this that it really, really is difficult to catch up. I'm going to have to spend all of my ERS to try and stay away from Russell here, as Russell looks to make the move. Side by side going into turn 1. We have the inside though, and we're able to keep P7. So pretty good for us. Colapinto ended up pitting, so we didn't get the extra slipstream that we would have liked from Colapinto to fight against Russell. But you know, it is what it is. We were able to keep the position as we now cross the line to kick off lap 17. I don't have too much ERS left, so this is now George Russell looking to go past us and retake the position ahead of us. But actually, it was too late. We were able to go around the outside into turn 1, so we managed to take the position momentarily, but we were able to keep it in the end. So we're now up into P5. A bunch of cars have pitted. We're still going until we pit onto the hards. There's yellow flags ahead, and it's our teammate. It's Fernando Alonso, told by the team that he was faster. We were told by the team that he was faster, and to be fair, he was. That is so unlucky, man. He's had such a horrible season so far, and that just takes the cake. DNF in his home Grand Prix, that is just nightmarish for Fernando. Hopefully he doesn't have any more problems throughout the rest of the season and that's his bad luck over. But that's George Russell going past now. We had no ERS, no slipstream or DRS out ahead, and yeah, no chance to fight Russell this time. So we're gonna have to chill behind him for a bit. We have some dirty air. I'm checking on the front left. That also does factor into how difficult it is to get through turn 3. Of course, it's now 71% tyre wear as Russell looks to pit. I'm trying to push these mediums as much as possible to give us the best fighting chance on the hards. So we're now pushing on to our final lap on the mediums, of course. So we'll be going about 13-14 laps on the hards. Hopefully they're pretty good. Behrman, once again, doing really well around Spain. He's in P5 right now. I don't know where he will be in the grand scheme of things, but he is pretty close to us. I know we might be doing really good enough to land ourselves in the points. Behrman's still going. Very long stint in the Haas right there. I'm very curious to see where he ends up at the end of this Grand Prix. But here we go, pitting now for our final time onto the hards. Verstappen, 25 seconds ahead. A full domination by Max Verstappen on yet another track that he loves. Of course, he really dominated around Imola as well. So, yeah, but this is just 2023 levels of domination. He is so far ahead, and now we're coming out of the pits side by side with George Russell once more. What a battle this is turning out to be as we now go side by side through each of these corners. Thankfully, nobody is in front, so no dirty air for us right there. We were able to just have the better grip. We have one lap on George Russell, so that's really going to help us as we go throughout these laps. We're about a second behind Colapinto, who is on his final stint. He's managed to pull off the one stop, to be fair to him. He's pulled off some pretty good results this season, Colapinto. Very interesting. In fact, I think he's been better than Tsunoda. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember where they are in the standings, but we've definitely seen a lot more of Colapinto than we have Tsunoda this season. But yeah, we're now getting challenged by George Russell once more, and once again he ends out ahead. Alex Albon now challenging us. I have to give him a little bit of space, but he doesn't have enough to make the move on us. But Russell, with all that commotion with Albon there, managed to gain a few extra tenths. So that's not good at all. We've got Lance Stroll in the V-Carb up ahead, but I think he was still yet to pit. So in all that commotion with Russell, somehow, someway, Colapinto managed to gain upwards of 4 seconds, and it takes us up until lap 23 to actually get the move back on Russell. We goad him towards the inside to give him as little grip as possible, but I brake a little bit too late, go a bit deep, and Russell is able to get all of that advantage back. So, yeah, I think we're going to go one-on-one with Russell for P8 throughout these laps. But to be fair, as we go over to lap 28, he actually is struggling to keep up with us a lot more in terms of the corners. So that Mercedes is really not good in terms of the hards. And let's be real, guys, in this ground effect era of F1 video games, Mercedes have been crap in the career mode the entire time. It's so weird. I've noticed it for years now. Nobody really points it out. Even Arava didn't point it out, and he actually experienced the Mercedes in last year's game. It's been so bad. But we've now finally caught up to Colapinto with 3 laps to go. This is it. Let's see if we can catch him right now. We're not getting too much dirty. Yeah, we had to slow down just a tad, but we have enough grip on that front left to be able to power through. It's 58% tyre wear now on the front left. It does take a beating in this race, but it's part of what makes Spain so interesting. I honestly, like, it's not too enjoyable when I'm experiencing it, but when we're actually making content, like making a video on it, it's actually really cool to see how much dirty air we do get here and the different strategies that different teams employ. I think Spain might be a mainstay. I don't think we'll remove this anytime soon. My original plan was to remove Spain next season in favour of Canada. And I did keep Spain this season in favour of Canada because Spain was just so challenging in Season 1. But, yeah, I think we'll find a way to keep both. But here we go, finally catching up to Colapinto. We're about to go onto the main straight for the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Verstappen 16 seconds ahead in the Ferrari. So, God forbid he has an engine failure, but if he doesn't have that, then it's a very easy win. Carlos Sainz in the Williams doing really well as we now make the move, and Colapinto makes that ridiculously easy. In fact, he just over-defends entirely. He does an extra little twitch to the right, which tightens up his racing line and gives us acres of space. It was very strange, not a nice little payoff for all the racing that we were doing to catch up to him, but that is the final move done. It's P7 for us, Tsunoda lonely racing P6. Somehow Lando Norris managed to overtake Piastri. What a crazy race it's been for Lando, spinning out, and that safety car, he caused it, and he managed to benefit from it. Like, it's so insane. In fact, it shouldn't have been a safety car in the first place. I don't know how Norris managed to get away with that, but I'm so impressed with Carlos Sainz in the Williams getting that P3. Williams are close to us in terms of the R&D tree, but it really does go to show just how close the rest of the grid are outside of Ferrari and McLaren. Well, at this point, it looks as though it's just Ferrari. They seem to be the strongest car on the grid by far. Verstappen has been in a league of his own, a race of his own, just hot lapping around the circuit this whole time. Leclerc follows him up in P2. Sainz with a really impressive result in the Williams as we start our final lap, looking to defend one final time against Colapinto. But yeah, there's not going to be any issue right there. So yeah, like I said earlier, Spain, very, very difficult circuit, but it's part of what makes it interesting. I honestly really love the dirty air that they've added in F1 25. I feel like a little bit of it is too much. I feel like the AI don't experience it nearly as much. You know, I would love to see the AI start to struggle. We saw little glimpses of it in a couple of overtakes that we managed to make in the opening laps, but nothing as bad as we experienced earlier behind Alonso and Colapinto and Russell, where that was, I couldn't even turn the car and I was full lock. It was scary. And then Behrman managed to overtake us. But yeah, pretty eventful race. But given how difficult Spain was in season 1, where we were scratching and clawing for P10, I'll take P7. I'll happily take P7. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things for the championship, we got to hope we get some better results than this, especially with Ferrari catching up.
Champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
There's room for 3 on their podium, but only ever 1 right at the top. Let the celebrations begin. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not. It's back again, because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
Well, like I've said a couple of times this season, the more things change, the more they stay the same. He won the championship with Red Bull last season, had some really bad results towards the end of the year. And I guess he saw the writing on the wall, and he made a genius move to Ferrari, replacing Lewis Hamilton. And again, yeah, it's been a very genius move. Verstappen, some unlucky results down to Ferrari strategies being really rough and safety cars being really rough as well. But yeah, when it comes to actual consistency, when Ferrari are not being badly affected by strategy, when we're not getting lucky, Ferrari, very clearly the best car in the field, and Verstappen is taking to that car like a fish out of water. It's absolutely incredible what he's able to do, overtaking Lando Norris in the driver's standings. Again, I think it was really cheap how Lando was able to get a really good finish to the race. It's not even impressive to me because he spins out and he stays out while everyone pits under the safety car and still manages to pull out the one stop versus Oscar Piastri. It's almost as if Norris didn't get much tyre wear from spinning out at all. It's very, very strange. Maybe Piastri's also dealing with engine wear as well. Again, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why Lando got away with that. I don't even know why, in what world, that would ever be a safety car, you know, a full course safety car. Nobody was even endangered. But yeah, P7 for us. We've got to hope we get some better results from here on out. Next time will be Austria reverse. The very first reverse track of this series. Reverse tracks, of course, being new to this game, so I'm so excited. I'll see you guys next time for some more F1 25 career. Be sure to like. See you soon. Peace.